Welcome to Monday Night Live, the weekly training that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and start building your wealth.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Mhm,
Hello, everybody. I'm Brooke Kromer. I work and sell down on the 30A area, which is in Florida. It's in the Panhandle. Stunning area. I'm literally looking at the ocean right, well, the Gulf of Mexico, America right now. I still can't even say it right. Gulf of America. It's
mhm,
still like so bizarre and so fun. But yeah, selling luxury properties, a lot of investment properties, mainly homes, Gulfront condos. We have this 21-mile stretch of beach that's just stunning, and little towns throughout it, urbanism towns that have shops, restaurants, condos above. It's beautiful. It looks like Europe, and we're in America. So you have to come check it out sometime. If you need a new vacation this year, this is the spot to come. We have great rental properties. They go for, we rent for about 8% ROI, which is not bad. You're really buying into the lifestyle down here and enjoying it. I've been coming down here since I was probably about 8 years old. My dad and brother both coach in the NFL, so moved around every 3 years of my life with the NFL. Thought that was kind of going to be my only option for work after, growing up in it. I really didn't know anything else. So I went into being a sports reporter. I worked with Fox Sports, NFL Network as more of the production side of things, and then the Draft Network and FTN Network, a couple other sports betting networks for being on air. Had a ball with it, and COVID hit, and they were like, "We don't know when football's going to be back." So
mhm,
good luck. No one's working. And I cannot sit still. So I got antsy and I came to my parents' beach house. I was like, I'm getting away. We were all in Los Angeles. My brother and dad were both coaching for the Rams at the time. And I was with
mhm,
NFL Network. And so I came to the beach house and I never left. I started shadowing my friend in real estate. I knew I always wanted to do real estate. Always thought it would be about, when I was older and they kicked me off of being on air. And COVID just
mhm,
kind of pushed me into it a little bit earlier than I thought. Got my first paycheck and I was like, I'm gonna stay here. Goodbye, NFL Network. You cannot afford me anymore. So that was
mhm,
probably the best thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. I really used my sphere of influence when I got down here and just reached out to everyone we knew from coming down here every off season with my family. And my family, thankfully, are social butterflies. So we knew the entire town, thank God. And I just really honed in on figuring out who was in town, how we could get together, just rekindling relationships, strengthening others. You guys all know it's all about relationships. I mean, that's a testament to my entire
mhm,
success. It's all been relationship driven. I
mhm,
don't do cold calls. I really just started marketing this year because I started my real estate team and I was like, these girls need some branding. So they deserve
mhm,
that. And that's what I've done for them. But before that, it was all just me going out and talking to people I knew and then just snowball effect going into getting their friends referred to me and on and on. About
mhm,
2 years ago, I really focused in on farming that NFL space. I don't know why it didn't register to me at first that I should be doing that. And
mhm,
I was with a small boutique company, went to Compass, and that's really when my eyes opened up. And I was like, oh, I have been, crushing it
mhm,
in real estate, but look how much I could do even more with, the resources that a big boutique company has and just really just the knowledge of the agents around you. I really dove in and met so many more people with Compass than my boutique company that had about 15 agents with it. So learned a
mhm,
ton, dove into the NFL world. Now I travel all football season for football and it's fun. And sometimes I feel guilty because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm setting myself back. But then I remember how many clients come down to this area now because it's just so organic. I love where I sell and I talk to them, just organically telling them about 30A and their investments that they could make down here, and how a lot of my other NFL players and coaches have had success purchasing down here, renting out their property for a few years, selling that one, buying another one, and it just keeps going like that. And then you
Mhm.
get the repeat customers, which is just my bread and butter. And I love that. It's so nice when they want to sell and buy something bigger. But they were luckily able to see the success that my family had doing that when my dad won a Super Bowl 44 with the Saints, if we have any Saints
Mhm.
fans. And after that, he used that money and threw it into a house down here. He was like, this is going to be my best investment. And it
Mhm.
was. It was absolutely the best investment he ever made in his life. Watched then other properties come up, spaces available, lots on the water, and bought a lot. Like sold the house in Rosemary. It was like bought his lot that he always wanted, built on it, and now this property has quadrupled in price. So, and he's
Nice.
having all of his maintenance and everything covered with rental numbers. So if you have investors or anything that need, rental properties in a beach town or anything like that, send them my way. I love working referrals with you guys. But it's such a powerful area where now I can use that testament and show my NFL guys, look what you can do. And a lot of people don't know, but NFL players, a lot of them are only playing for 7 years of their entire lives. And then they
Mhm.
are, what do they do from then on? So I really try and hone in and focus on those guys, and realizing that their span of time that they're making this type of money is really short. And I try and help them kind of as like a financial advisor. I show them how much money they can make down here, that it's going to be a sound investment, a safe place to put their money. So I kind of put on my little investor hat and try and just help them. I mean, they're so young. It's
Mhm.
crazy to think about. I'm older than all of them now, which has been so weird because my whole life they were my big brothers, and now I'm like helping them with their money. It's crazy. But it's been really, really an incredible career. I'm only been in it for 5 years, and I feel so, so blessed to have really always been a relationship person, anyways. I think sports reporting has taught me that at a young age. I started that when I was 16. So, really, that was all relationship based too. So, it really segued
Mhm.
very well into real estate, and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned relationship a couple times because it really is true. And most agents, when they first start out, they're just so eager or hungry, which is great. You need to have drive in this business. You definitely got to have hustle, but they end up becoming transaction oriented, and it's a transaction to them. Then you want to get to the next transaction, and they fail to nurture or maintain their relationships. But what's ironic is those same relationships, if all you did was just send them an annual card, hey, happy anniversary on the purchase of your last home, or if you know their, and you should know their birthdays and things like that, just a couple things a year. It doesn't have to be a lot. Um, Keeps the front of mind presence in their mind. So when something comes up in their world related to real estate, somebody, friend or neighbor looking to buy or sell, they're going to say, hey, you need to call Brooke. She's awesome. We stay in touch. She helped me with my house. And, that's just, that's how the business goes. And statistically, um, and this is a fact. If you have 900 people in your database, which sounds like a lot, but it's honestly, even anybody can do it given enough time. Um, and all you did was just nurture them, you know, an annual card, a phone call every now and then. Um, and you convert at 10%, which is not outlandish. That Think about that. That's 90 transactions a year, you know. And I know people that do that. And that's they live off of that. Um, so any case, with your clientele, actually, I've got so many questions. Let me ask you this. The first one, when did your dad buy the house in the Panhandle? What do you remember what year that was when he bought that?
The first house was 2011 after the 2009-2010 Super Bowl. We had been
Yeah.
vacationing down here forever and finally found the spot we wanted to be in. And we wish, of
Hmm.
course, that we had bought 10 years earlier, but rented for all those years. Silly
Yeah.
mistake. But he bought at a good time still.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 2011. We had bought the recession had bottomed out, but we weren't. we haven't recovered pricing yet. So we're bottomed out. We're starting to inch our way back up. So he definitely got in at a good time. And now look at what happened the last several years with pricing. You know, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the place, but that's 14 years through one of the longest bull markets that we've ever recorded. I'm pretty sure that house is probably 2 to 4 times worth more than it was when he bought it, you know?
Yes, it is. It is
Uh,
actually. I don't
yeah,
remember exactly what he bought it for. They sold it for 800,000. If they still had the property today, they could sell it for 3.5 million. So they're
yeah,
a little kicking themselves that they don't have it, but they got the house they wanted.
yeah,
So, it's all part of the game.
yeah, yeah. Now so with your clients, a lot of people would think, well, you got dealt a lucky hand of cards, and that may be true, but everybody has something in this world that you come into the world with. You just have to think through. And here's the question: everybody should write this down. It's not always necessarily who you know; it's who they know. So you might have a neighbor, right, who works for the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, right? And maybe they're going to be relocating everybody to that area. I'm just throwing this out there, but I learned that from one of my oldest mentors. He said, "Look, you're thinking you don't know anybody," and he said it's very common. He said, "But think about this. Think about the people you do know, and who do they know? What industry are they in?" And that was a major turning point for me. That got me going from selling houses and duplexes and flips and things like that to getting bigger commercial
Absolutely.
deals because I realized I knew people personally that were pretty high up in other businesses. And all I did was just whenever we get together for golf or going to a football game or something like that, it's just always ask them, hey, how's business going? What are you seeing out there? And what do people generally do when they reciprocate? Well, how's your business? What are you up to lately? And then it gives you the opportunity to tell them. It creates a front of mind presence. Is that sort of, I don't want to paint the picture for you, but so hearing you say your business is relationship based, do you leverage those same relationships and in a positive way, of course, like one of your clients, say one of your players for the Saints buys a rental in the Panhandle. Um, do you use that to talk to other athletes and say, you know what, you know, so and so for the Saints bought one over here, and here's his cash flow. Would you like to talk to them? I mean, I've done that. As long as it's okay with them, I guess it's called permission based. But tell us about that. What are some of the activities or conversations you have to be able to take advantage of the hand of cards that you were dealt? So because that's one thing I like about you, Brooke, is you're not just riding somebody else's coattails. You got your start because of that, but you built this on your own. I know you did because I looked into it and we interviewed you on the podcast. So I know
Absolutely.
your dad didn't build this, you built it, you know?
Yeah, and that was going to be one of my main points is utilize where you've come from, what family you come from, where you are. Everyone has something that makes their business special and that they can dive into relationship wise, whether, someone in your family works for some big corporation or your neighbor works for some huge corporation, your best friend, whoever it is. I mean, there's some like you always have something that you can really dive into and run with. Mine
Mhm.
was just the NFL. And we were down here only because this is where a lot of NFL coaches and players come during the off season. That's how we ended up down here. So
Mhm.
I really do feel strongly that everyone has some niche that they can dive into, just like I did with the NFL. So I hope, the stories I tell, you can try and figure out how you could do that in your own relationships or your own sphere of influence or whatever, corporation or whatever you have that makes you special because everyone has something. That's why we're all different. That's why we're all successful. For my NFL people, every time that I do have a sale and I can tell a story about it, I do that. I don't use names, I don't use teams, I don't use anything. So for example, one of my offensive linemen came down here this off season and bought a property. It was actually his first summer down here. He spent 2 weeks down here, fell in love with it, and decided to buy this year while the interest rates were high and he knew he could get a better price. Also, properties in the $5 to $10 million range have really been sitting a long time in our area. And that's the exact range that he was looking in. So I knew that we could get him a deal this year. And next year, we're probably not going to be able to get a deal. So I just educated him in that way to start. I showed him the facts. I said, look at these properties that have been sitting. This one that he fell in love with had been sitting for over a year. And I knew the agent. I called the agent. I said, how are your sellers feeling? And he was like, man, they need to sell. They're so tired of having this property. It's just, they're dealing with all the maintenance. They already bought something else forever ago thinking this would sell quick. It didn't. Our market kind of went down in that price range right when everyone listed in that price range, which was really tough for a lot of people because they had already bought another property like that. So I went in, showed them the property, and I said, look, I know the property originally, I think a year and a half ago when it was listed at 7.5 million. By this time, it was listed at like 5.35. And like I said, look how far it's come down. And about every couple months, they dropped it lower, lower, lower. $2 million off already is just insane. And I said, let's lowball and let's put it under 4 mil or like right under 5 million and just see what they say.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to want to sell. The agent called me back. He was so ecstatic to even have an offer. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to push for them to take this. I'm going to push for them. And I was like, look, just do what you can. We'll see where we end up. We ended up at 5,089,000. And it was originally listed for 7.5 million a year and a half earlier, just kept
Yep.
dropping. So I was able to get them over 200,000 off ask price, which back
Hmm.
like here back in the day never happened. We were having the multiple offers like way over ask price. I mean, things would fly off the market in 3 days. So I knew that this was such a special time and we had to take advantage of it. And really just the knowledge of the market and I mean, it's an inlet beach. This is my space. Like everyone down here on
Yeah.
38. The east side, they know it's mine. I'm selling Inlet Beach, Rosemary, and Inlet or in Alice all day long. And I know this market. I know it so well. So I don't even try and sell in the West End. I really, really focus in on this place that I mean, we've owned down here forever, so I've watched it grow. And we were one of the
Hmm.
first people that built in Inlet Beach. So it's it's really, I use that to my advantage to be able to get my people the best price that they can. And I know it's going to
Hmm.
rent well over here because we're right next to Rosemary Beach, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think just knowing the market really, really saved me
Hmm.
there. So after that closed, I emailed all of my people in the NFL. I have all of the emails for the coaches, GMs, owners, and then I add all my players in there that I can. They don't ever use their team emails. They all use their own little personal ones. So I have to find those myself. But I put them all together. I tell the story. I say, this guy, first time down here, fell in love with the area, just so people know. It's great. Right
Hmm.
when you come down here, you're going to fall in love with it. So get your, cash ready
Hmm.
and told them from top to bottom how I got them the price that they wanted, how the rental numbers are now going to make sense because we got it $200,000 off ask. So now we don't need as much return and, to make the numbers make sense. Broke down all the numbers for them so they can see what kind of great investment it's going to be. Broke down the tax advantages that my client's going to get from refreshing some of the furniture, from, paint, anything because it's a rental property. He can write off anything that he does to improve the property, which also improves the rental numbers. So I was able to break all of that down numbers wise, but also put it into a full story of him coming down here for the first time, us looking at property, how the negotiations went. And I have gotten so many calls. And honestly, I sent it out to my agents as well that I have in my referral, basis, just so they could see how I'm working hard for my customers. I got such great feedback and so many more clients that want to come down and buy next off season because they could see I was knowledgeable about the market. I used my journalism background and told a great story. I broke down the numbers and showed how great of an investment it could be. So every deal I try and really use it as a story, not just okay, it's closed, we're done. There we go. I use it as marketing. I use it. People love a story. They want to see, this part was hard and maybe the inspection came back tough, but look at all these positive things. I put down everything. I tell them the great things, the bad things that went into a deal. And people really respond well to that. So that's something that I've dove into lately. And it's really had a good response.
Yeah. Well, now as far as communication goes, obviously in marketing, in fact, we have a graphic that we use on our team. It's two centrifugal circles, two sets of circles. One set of circles is your clients. So the innermost circle, we'll call that circle one or category one. That's the people you know and love the best, and you know and love you the best. And the next outer circle two is like acquaintances. You talk to them in a grocery store, but you might not necessarily invite them over for the neighborhood cookout on Saturday, that kind of thing. And circle three is pretty much everybody else. Then the other set of circles is the marketing, and marketing involves a lot of communication. So the innermost circle is the most direct kind of communication, which means it's in person, one on one, or a phone call, or like Zoom. Okay. And category two marketing would be, it's still direct, but it's not as personal. So a text message is direct, but it's not as personal as an actual live phone call, for example. Level three is more like online. You message them on LinkedIn or Facebook, something like that, and post targeted marketing through posting. And then circle four is broadcast marketing. You're trying to send it to the universe. But in any case, circle one clientele, right, is the people you know and love the best and know and love you the best. And circle one marketing is most direct communication. But in your business, what do you find? Are you using your phone primarily more, or you're texting, or does it depend on the client, or how do you have like a pattern or a process? So if you're going to think when you think of somebody, oh, he's a Facebook guy, I'm going to message him on Facebook. How do you determine how you communicate with your folks? Which medium,
I um I take it case by case. I am
Hmm.
very active on Instagram, so I will be just messaging people back on their pictures, on their posts, on their stories at all times. I am always being
Hmm.
interactive with, I mean, literally everyone, all of my friends, all my clients. I just stay in touch with everyone that I'm following just because you
Hmm.
never know who could become a client someday. I get a lot of clients from my Instagram just posting. I mean, today I posted a video of a turtle that I took on my drone today. Like little things like that, that they're just like, oh my God, that place is so beautiful. Let me learn more about that. Um, and then what can I even afford there? And I can break down properties that they can get and how it can help them. So I utilize Instagram a ton. And then a
Hmm.
lot of my high net worth clients, they're actually bigger texters than on the phone. They're just so busy that I really can't get them on the phone. So I text them and I'll just say, hey, let me know if you need anything. Happy to jump on a call if you'd like. I
Hmm.
always say happy to jump on a call if you'd like, so they know that I'm not trying to be like not personable by texting
Hmm.
them, but just, respecting their time and knowing that they're so
Hmm.
busy. Most of them are running companies or out on the NFL field. So I really try and give the respect their time, shoot them a little text. If they don't respond, I am not offended. I know that I'll text them 3 times and on the third time they'll respond. Or when they
Yeah.
finally get to town, they'll respond and say, hey, I'm in town. Let's go get a coffee or let's go get a drink. I
Hmm.
try and do a lot of private dinners and have, if I have athletes in town, like for bye week, I'll have all the guys over here and do like a private dinner, have a chef come in. Now they're so addicted to doing it that they do it at their houses and I get invited. So it's all come full circle. It all works out. But I try and just be very personal and very respectful, and just
Yeah.
figure out what they need because not every client wants you to call them and blow their phone up. I mean, I
Right.
ignore phone calls all day long. I'm like, don't want to talk to that person, salesperson, don't want to talk to them. But if they text me, I'm
Mhm.
more likely to respond. So I think just really figuring out who your clients are and figuring out what's going to be best for them.
Yeah. Do you, as far as frequency, do you have a general rule of thumb, like when you tell your team members, how to perform? Do you have like a cadence, like the people who are your circle one people, a phone call at least every 90 days? And again, personal, not like, hey, you know anybody looking to buy or sell, but hey, just want to check in on you and see how it's going with the last one you bought, or what are you hearing as far as the trade rumors go, because always football players are always concerned, because throughout the season there's no guarantee. They could be, they could be gone at the end of the season. But any cadence there, like circle one people you call every 90 days, anything like that, rules that you go by with your team?
Yeah, anybody that is in town often, we will connect with them more often. Just,
Mhm,
how's it going? Do you need anything while you're in town? Need anything to plan for your trip?
mhm,
Any recommendations if they're new to the town area? NFL people, I leave them alone until off season. I email them about 3, 4 times throughout the season. And then, if I'm really close with them and I've had a relationship with them for years, so more of your guys' sphere of influence, I'll text them, hey, great game, congrats, whatever. If it's a player that's moving teams, I'm definitely going to text them because I'm
yeah,
going to get them an agent in their area they are and their area that they're moving to. So
yeah,
referrals, we love them. But then,
yeah,
clients that are down here, if they bought an investment property, 6 months in, I'll text them and ask them or call them and ask them how the rental's
mhm,
going. Is the management company taking good care of them? Are they happy with returns? Is there anything they need? Do they need to vent? Half the time they just want to
mhm,
vent.
yeah,
Um, but just, it's case by case. Everything I do is case by case. And even with my team members, that's what I teach them is not every person's going to be the same, not every deal is going to be the same. So you really have to dive in and know who your audience is and take care that way. But I feel the people that are renting down here, I stay in touch with the most just because if their rental property is not making them the numbers they want, I say, well, let's sell
yeah,
that one and get you one that will. And then I get more clients that way or more sales that way. Always
yeah,
just trying to think outside the box of how I can get another sale going, how I can get someone else interested in purchasing property down here. That's always
yeah.
top of mind.
Yeah, are your clients, are they pretty good about referring people to you? I mean, is it is it more organic, or do you does it come up in conversation, or how does that happen? Well, I don't know if you have a percentage, but you could share too. So,
Yeah, I haven't done the numbers, but a lot of my clients will start referring because they have eventually will have friends come stay in their properties down here and then they're like, I want a property.
hi, I just want to take a moment to thank you for watching a recording of the Monday Night Live class. Hope you get a lot out of it. I'm sure you will. I wanted to let you know that you can come to Monday Night Live whenever you want, but you can also participate more with the team. Why don't you set up a call with me, a one-on-one strategy call? I can go over everything with you, show you everything that we have to offer. For example, did you know that on our team, not only do you get your leads, we actually give you your own account on our lead gen system. So this puts you in control. You're not waiting on somebody to hand you leads. You get to pick the ones you want. Okay? Huge difference. We have 21 of our own proprietary marketing campaigns. They're all copyright protected. We're the only ones that can use them. Okay? The coaching is absolutely one-on-one. We got 3 coaches. We even have a 4th success coach that we have access to. Okay? One of left fewer than 100 in the world. Okay? One-on-one coaching. Right now the big problem is volume. We need more transactions. We need more inventory. I get it. Well, we know how to get it. Our team actually outproduces the national average by more than 2 to 1. So if you're struggling, don't do that anymore. If you're a solo agent, if you're a team, let's just talk. Smart entrepreneurs are always open to discussion. Learn what we have to offer, and then you can make an informed decision about staying where you are or moving on. You got to decide, if you're not where you want to be, you've got to take action to get where you want to be. Let's see how we can help you do that. I look forward to talking to you. Click on the link, set up a call. And by the way, I'll see you on the next Monday Night Live.
There. That makes sense. That's a beautiful spot. So I will get a lot of referrals that way. The NFL, tons of referrals. I mean, I'll go up to, like we use agent conferences kind of to meet other agents and get referrals that way. I'll go to places like the NFL Combine and mingle with the coaches I do know. And then they'll be like, oh my gosh, you have to meet this person. They go down to 30A. And then I talk to them that way. Or same thing with now that I'm traveling so much with football. I'm literally going to a football game every weekend for the rest of the season. And then I'll go to all
Oh,
the playoff
darn.
games and the Super Bowl. And I'll go to everything I can. Anything that I'm like, Dad, bring me into practice, bring me into this. Let's go. I get dinners with or lunches with all the wives while I'm there. If they have babies, I'll go over to their house. Just
Mhm,
really showing them that I want to be their friend and first
mhm,
and foremost. And then it all happens organically. How's your business? How's 30A? oh, it's beautiful down there. Tell me more. And they're coming down to buy next off season. So I use that. I use the NFL, games and combine and things like that as kind
Mhm.
of like my networking events. And I take it to the next level. I'm like at everything that I can be at. So
Yeah,
it's so organic that way. If you just show up, people will talk
yeah,
to you, especially I have relationships with them. And then the ones that I don't, I'm going to get introduced to just because I'm there.
yeah.
So it really
I tell
works.
you what, those two words you just uttered, show up. I mean, it's so great. And this is why this is so important right now, guys, is we came through the pandemic years where we were being told we couldn't go out. We had to, quarantines, stay away from each other, all this kind of stuff. And everybody got on Zoom. And I think we've gotten kind of soft, like used to just being on our computers all day long and thinking the business is going to happen automatically because of that. It doesn't. There is no better way to drum up a transaction than to be out there, to be seen, in the public venues, clubs that you can join, associations you can join, anything that you can join to be a part of. I'm telling you, there you can have. There's associations for kayakers and readers and writers and pet groomers. There's associations for everything you can imagine that you can join something that you're interested in and leverage that. I'm not saying you go in there and say, hey, you know anybody looking to buy or sell? I would never do that. I would never do that. But get to know them, right? And then they'll get to know you, and they're going to know that what you do for a living is that you help people buy and sell houses. But those personal relationships are absolutely vital. So, hey, so Brooke, the referrals. Do any of your referrals go outside the sphere of football? Like in other words, they're referring their neighbors or nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, things like that too.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean,
Awesome.
neighbors is like the main thing. It's, all of our feeder markets. We have Atlanta, Nashville, all of the southeastern states can drive down here and come vacation. So
Mhm.
everyone in Nashville comes down at once, all purchasing, all
Yeah,
renting, whatever they're doing. So they, you hit one sale and you do a good job for them and you show them that you're knowledgeable. You show them that you're going to show up for them. I do everything even after the deal closes. I'll help them set up their utilities I mean, typically I'm filling out as much as I can and then sending it to them to, put their social security number in or whatever they need. But I just take the initiative and just get it all set up for them and send them a link where they just have to put in like one thing and then their credit card and then it's done and it's set up. I'll meet the gas guy out there. Like I will do anything. The one football player that I was telling you guys about earlier that bought he they took some of the furniture in the house when it closed. That's not typical in our area. Typically, our houses sell fully furnished. So in that deal, I had to get the deal closed, and I really wanted him to get the house and not have to just argue over some living room furniture and master bedroom. So in that deal and negotiation, I said, I will take care of finding you furniture. I will go above and beyond and I will send you guys links, tell you what I like. I'll go out and see the furniture, I'll pick it out, I'll be there for the delivery, everything. Just because, I mean, that's a $5 million sale that might not have happened because I didn't want to, take that extra step and after I get
oh
my
yeah,
commission, just be done. Not going to happen. So I always try and just go the extra mile. And now, I mean, he's telling everyone on the line how great of a job I did, how easy of a transition it was. And now they're in football season, so they don't have time to think about anything. So I have
right.
basically taken over that as well as their rental management company, which I work really closely with. So we could just
Mhm.
have everything handled for them and he can focus on football because I need him to get some
Yeah.
wins. So
Well, that is,
I need
yeah,
him to be focused on football and not a beach house. So that's just been like the how I've gotten the referrals is just going above and beyond and not just saying
yeah.
you will, but taking the initiative. And if you see something else they need, putting it out there and just doing extra work. Like it never stops when the deal closes.
That's true white glove concierge service. Absolutely. And that's how you get referrals. Just go,
Absolutely.
wow, just blow them away. I mean, one of my best friends sold his personal home several years ago in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And when we all bought down there, it was, I mean, we were spending, less than $100,000 on our houses, and now they're over 600,000 just for average houses. And in any case, this was a couple years ago when the market was still just the properties flying off the shelf. And the guy that got the listing was one of our agents. He didn't go through me; he got it on his own. which was very impressive. But the house was 20 something years old. It had some minor maintenance and repairs, deferred maintenance, minor stuff, cosmetic. This guy brought in his own crew to take care of all that. He brought in his own crew to do the touch-up painting, the carpet cleaning, everything, and for his commission. And now my friend Ray still raves about that today. So when we go to the beach, of course, there's always something happening down there. It comes up and he tells people, man, you gotta call this guy Brad. This dude sold my house in a week. And I'd have to lift a finger. He did everything, including cleaning the carpets. I'm telling you, that guy gets a lot of business because of that. You
It
know?
goes a long way. Just showing up for
Oh
your
yeah.
clients in ways that other people won't. I mean,
Yeah.
it's everything. And that's how you're going to get the referrals. That's how people are going to trust you. I mean, if they
Yeah.
don't have to do the extra work, think about that if that was for you. If you didn't have to, set up utilities or go through all the mundane things of buying a new house. I mean, you're already moving,
Yeah.
you're already doing all of this. It's
Yeah.
stressful. So just to have a couple things off your plate, that's everything.
Yeah. If you think about it, relatively speaking, what you're doing with a $5 million house, if you were to look at a percentage basis, what you're doing is not that much more when you consider the payday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, would I give up another? We call it the 5 minute rule. Just put in 5 more minutes than the next guy, and you'll find yourself getting more business and more referrals. So
Yeah.
hey, have you ever thought of? Do you ever go to the NFL draft to get to meet those guys? And
I do. I used to be a reporter there. So I used to go out there to report and I would interview them as they came off the stage. But
yeah,
it's a little different at the NFL draft. The NFL combine's a little more personable. They all go
okay,
out and all the coaches are going out and drinking the whole time. They're there to watch some football players push around
mhm,
men and then they're networking also to try and get their next job. So it's like the perfect
okay,
place to do that, where the NFL draft is more the younger guys that are, they're out there partying. They're not focused yet on what they're gonna
yeah,
purchase. But I will go in
mhm,
if they're rookies and talk to them then about, this. Now you've got the checks. I mean, they already have it from the NIL, but now
yeah,
they've got the big checks. And then it's like, all right, make sure you're putting your money where you need it to be. Realize
yeah,
that, I mean, I had one player I was at the offensive line dinner and he was like, I don't want to buy on 30. I don't have a family yet. And I'm looking at him like, and will you not in what, 3 to 5 years? Like,
mhm,
why are you looking for a place right now that you're going to go party somewhere when you could have this foundation already set
mhm,
here, be making money in the meantime, and then
mhm,
you're set, you're good. And then you can, our area is going to appreciate a lot faster than the other areas he was looking. So just
yeah,
talking them through, like, don't think about
mhm,
right now sometimes. Sometimes you got to think about the future, especially when you're only, playing on an average of 7 years and then you're
mhm.
out and you're not making that kind of money anymore. I mean, you see so many stories about these guys going bankrupt. There's one
Oh
every
yeah,
day that's coming out. So just helping them and educating them in buy a beach house, impress all your friends, bring them down to the beach house in the bye week. Like all of a sudden you're the cool guy on the team and look at a great financial decision it is. Um,
yeah,
so also knowing your audience again, just talking to them, the way they need to be talked to. I'm not going to tell some wealthy billionaire down here that's buying a golf front house that he needs to do that. I'm going to talk to him in a completely different way. So really knowing my audience there.
I have to ask you this because he's been around. He's probably getting ready to retire. But you ever meet a quarterback, Taylor Heineke?
I
He
have never
started
met
with the
him, but I do
started
know
with
who
the
he is.
yeah. He went to my alma mater, so we got to see him play right in his early days, and he would have games where he threw for 700 yards, and even though Old Dominion wasn't known because it was a brand new football program. He got in with the Redskins. He was with Atlanta for a while, but I know he's a smart guy because we actually talk. He and my buddy Ray I was telling you about is actually a member of the I forget what they call the Boosters Club. There's a name for it, but so we get to go to a lot of events. But he was really smart, or is really smart with his money because he
That's the
knew
ones I
he
love,
was never going to get the $50 million contract. He was going to get $1 million contract, which is great,
right?
but he had to really be wise with his money. So, by the way, um, another this is direct related to the subject too. By the way, how do you feel about the Steelers?
Well,
Are they the
good
enemy
luck.
or no? I just kidding. Well, you know where the NFL draft's going to be next year. It's in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
So,
wow.
So you could consider yourself invited. I know a lot of people that have a lot of property in Pittsburgh and a lot of them on top of Mount Washington. I'm pretty sure I can get you a really good view, like on looking over the three rivers, the incline going down, all that, the whole nine
Yeah,
yards.
we'll
So
get
yeah,
out there and network and get them buying some houses then.
I'm telling you. Yep.
That'd be
So
awesome.
yep. So well, let me ask you this. What do you see coming down the road for your team? So your connection obviously is with the NFL, but can you see that being leveraged for other groups like hockey, baseball, basketball, things like that? Or maybe people on your team, some of your team members are thinking, you know what, I don't know anybody in the NFL or NHL, but I know somebody who's top you know, what's the guy that Steve Irwin, what was his, he was like a zoologist, like somebody that travels all marine land parks around the country, something like that. That's all the connections.
Exactly.
How's that? How are you seeing any of that coming down the road, or tell us about what you're thinking for the next, say, 1 to 3 years, for your team?
Yeah, exactly. I have all of my people that I bring on my team. I'm very strategic about it. They either have to be better than me at something or have completely different connections. I mean,
Mhm,
I'll take on some NFL girlies if they're out there. But
mhm,
my girl in Nashville, I brought into my team to another state, one of my
mhm,
feeder markets, because she had her license down here, didn't have a place to hang it. I was like, hey, girl, come on my team. So she sends me financial advisors from Nashville, and then they have
okay,
clients that want to come down by here, as well as the financial advisor. And then she's also
mhm,
part of Nexus, which is a sports and entertainment division, which is another point that I
mhm,
definitely wanted to make tonight was go and talk to your, whatever, EXP, Compass, Corcoran, whoever you're with, find out what divisions they have, what networking divisions they have, because there's all kinds of them. I mean, with Compass,
mhm,
we have one that's the Katies of Compass, and anyone with the name Katie is in this group, and they send each other referrals. And mine is sports and entertainment. And so I get referrals for anyone that's buying down here that's in the NFL, NHL, whatever. So my
mhm,
girl in Nashville, she is in the sports and entertainment division as well. That's how we met. And
mhm,
she's trying to bring down more NHL guys down here because we have a big presence of NFL and more MLB now, a lot of retired ones. So she's trying to, bring down the NHL guys down now. And then another
mhm,
girl on my team, she is insanely great at knowing what properties are going to rent well. She's been working with rental management companies for years down here, and she's very knowledgeable in that space. And I don't know much other than the east side over here for rental properties. So she has been a huge addition to my team because she's better than me at that. And that's, I think,
mhm,
the number one thing is surrounding yourself with people that have a skill set that you don't. That's how our team has skyrocketed. I mean, it's brought me more
mhm,
success. And then, I mean, it brings everyone more success. But in the end, that's what builds a strong team. I watched my dad build teams for my entire life, and that's how he always built them. And I said, that's how I'm going to build my team. Always surrounding yourself with very smart people. You should be the dumbest one on your team. I mean, I literally try and find these smartest people. I'm like, you're smarter than me. You can come work for me. Let's go. And it's
yep,
brought so much success, and we can all throw ideas off of each other. I have another girl that's coming on that has a marketing major. So I'm going to
mhm,
utilize her. She's young. So she's going to be doing my TikToks. She's going to be doing all that stuff that I don't have time to scroll on TikTok. So she's, I'm going to lean on her for keeping up with the trends and the younger people that are
mhm,
buying down here. So just really
yeah,
trying to figure out, what everyone's good at, what you can bring to the team. Not just an agent that's, I mean, everyone has something so special about them, like we were saying earlier.
yeah,
The girl that has the marketing major, her boyfriend's family owns all of the biggest bars and clubs in Panama City Beach. So I go,
mhm,
great, you're going to tap into that. You're going to go over
mhm,
there, you're going to go out to lunch with his parents. You're going to have them bring friends. I mean, anything that
mhm,
his parents invite you to, you're going and you're going to go meet all those people and mingle because you're going to find clients that way. That's how I started finding clients down here before I tapped into the NFL side of things.
mhm,
Someone invites you, you say yes, you go, you're going to meet a new client there.
yeah,
So just teaching my team members how to really utilize what they have in their back pocket already. And maybe like me, who didn't think to reach out to the NFL people for the first 2, 3 years of my real estate career, and now it's just
Mhm.
blossomed into this huge thing.
Yeah.
Just really tapping into, I mean, what your family's given you, what God's given you, who you've met just going to the grocery store.
Mhm.
Really tapping into that and utilizing it for your advantage.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's coming to mind here as you were talking about that is we have a process that's basically a marketing campaign I created years ago called joint ventures. And a joint venture would be like most agents would tag team with a lender or a title company to pay for some of the marketing. They would do a joint venture marketing campaign where the lender gets the loan, the agent gets the commission, and so forth. But it goes further than that. We realize we can actually do that with other types of other industries. So, for example, I lived in Tidewater, Virginia, much of my life, always on the water. Everybody had boats. So we thought, you know what? Why don't we do joint ventures with boat dealerships to put on a special event, right where the boat dealership is, take people out on boat rides, get them hooked on the boat, and they sell boats. You know, we
I
did the
love it.
same thing with Mercedes, Lamborghini, Ferrari dealerships, custom car dealerships, things like that. And it all works. So if you think about NFL players, what are some of the services that they need? What are some of the products that they buy? Well, they're all going to buy nice cars. That's for darn sure. Probably before they buy the house, right? They'll buy,
Yeah.
you know. I mean,
Yes.
I never forget I forget the guy's name. He was a quarterback for the Steelers, and he bought this thing. It looked like a tractor trailer. It was just barely legal for the street. It wasn't an actual tractor trailer thing, but it was big enough to tow it. It was like a Ford F 10,000 or something. And any case, but that's what those guys want. So they have cars. If they're going to be down by the water, I bet you some of those guys buy boats eventually, don't they? You know,
Oh, yeah.
or right, or yachts. Yeah, they need boat insurance. They need car insurance. They need home insurance. Right? They probably want to have their own doctor that they know and trust. They don't want to just go to some HOA kind of, or excuse me, HMO kind of thing. They want to have their own doctor. Find out what doctors serve athletes and celebrities, right? People in that sports and entertainment. Um, I could think of all kinds of services and products that these guys want and tap into that. So your team member in Panama City could say, you know what, my team leader, Brooke Kromer, she works directly with the athletes. Why don't we do a joint venture for your boat dealership and see what we can pull together, or whatever the situation is. There's just ways for everybody here to tap into based on the relationships that you already have. You know, um,
Absolutely.
so, hey, one more thing, Brooke, too. We In our business, we do a lot of investors. So our investors run the gamut from people just starting out buying duplexes to people doing, 200, $400 million development deals. Um, One of the things we recognize through all of our investing, people that had Airbnbs, what we call midterm rentals. So midterm rental is not short term like a week long vacation. And it's not long term like a year long lease. It's people that are in town for 3, 6, or 9 months. That sounds an awful lot like athletes. When they're from San Diego, but they play for Atlanta, they don't necessarily want to live in Atlanta. They still want to live in San Diego. They need to be in Atlanta for essentially 6 months easily. So we found out that that was one of the top six categories of midterm rental renters. You've got people that were in oil and gas, right? High tech, medicine, military, business executives, and then sports and entertainment was one of the top six categories for midterm
Wow.
rentals. So your athletes can probably tap into that phenomenon. There's probably guys on the call here that I know personally know how to work with those kind of products. I mean, I do too. I've used to own a bunch of them, but help your guys invest some of their hard-earned money in markets where they're going to maybe have colleagues are going to be. They might be in Pittsburgh, but one of the college buddies that was a wide receiver might be in Pittsburgh, right? And just wants a short-term rental for 6 months and keep their place down in San Diego. So, in any case, there's things like that you can do, and we call it collaborative competition, where instead of people being competitive and combative, figure out how to work with each other. Like you said earlier on, you're happy to have referrals from people from Remax and KW and EXP and all the others. We're the same way. I mean, when I first started in my business, it was normal for us to find other agents and other brokerages around town that could serve their part of town. Because if I'm in the North Hills of Pittsburgh, I'm not going to drive all the way to the South Hills to show a duplex. But I knew Bill Kendall would because he lives down there. So we shared clients, and they were repeat clients. These people would buy 10, 20, 30, 40 properties over a period of 10 years. And we all profited from it because we collaborated. Sometimes our brokers they were like, wait a minute, what do you do? That test, they would tell us, you need to keep that in house. Like, you don't have anybody else in house that knows what I know. And I have
Yeah,
to go to these other guys that know how to work with these athletes, you know? So,
absolutely.
so in any case, everybody here keep that in mind. Think about what the athletes need, and short-term rentals is a great opportunity, especially if they're just starting out. If this is their first year in the game, they maybe don't want to buy something, but you know what? They got to live somewhere. They want to live somewhere nice. Find them a nice midterm rental, make yourself a big giant commission and a connection. So when they do go buy, even though they might not be buying in Pittsburgh, they might buy in a Panhandle. You're going to say, you know what? I know Brooke Kromer. She's another one, sports and entertainment agent in the country. She works with all the NFL teams. Would you like to meet her? Boom. You got Brooke a commission. You just earn a referral, right? And you got a
Yep.
lifetime relationship. So that's just how these things happen. So everybody here is watching this, and I know you probably were thinking, I don't know anybody in NFL, but you probably know an investor in town. And if you're in one of the bigger markets like Charlotte, like Atlanta, wherever there's any type of a sports team or any type of entertainment, and it really doesn't matter, high tech, medicine, finance, they all have a need for midterm rentals. Identify who those owners are and market yourself to the people in sports and entertainment, just like Brooke. And you might be able to do a joint venture or a referral arrangement with Brooke. Does that sound like a good idea? If you just raise your hand if you think that sounds like a good idea. That's something
Woohoo! Indeed.
anybody,
Pretty
exactly.
awesome.
Yeah. Anybody can participate in that, guys. So, hey guys, we're about 2 minutes away from the 8 o'clock mark, and I know for Brooke that you're in Central, or you're still in the East Coast time
I'm
where
in
you are.
Central Time.
Yeah, that part right there coming down from Nashville.
Yep,
It used to drive me crazy because one day I'm in Eastern time zone, the next day I'm in the Central time zone, but it's the same. I think it's 35 or whatever the highway that comes down, or 65 or something. I forget, but
it's
um,
crazy. I'm literally right on the edge. So if I drive like
yep,
an hour, it's like Eastern Time zone. So I always have to remember that.
yep,
It throws me off.
oh yeah. But hey guys, if you have questions, now's the time to ask because Brooke's been gracious enough to share her time with us, and I know she's going to want to have some supper and probably do some other things. But
Watch
if
some
you have
football.
questions, football, there you go, absolutely. Yeah, that's right, Monday night.
Monday
So
Night Football,
yeah,
double header.
that's why I call this Monday Night Live because it's a play on Monday Night Football and
I
Saturday
like
Night
it.
Live. Yeah,
I caught on that. I liked
yeah,
it.
and we're usually done right before kickoff. So well, Brooke, I just want to tell you, I really appreciate you doing this. I know you're busy, and but what you share with people, it just goes to show everybody's dealt a hand of cards. You just have to find out what your ace is and
Yep,
play it. Be like Brooke. Don't squander it. Do like Brooke and turn that little golden nugget into a gold mine. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. It's called being a good steward for what
yep.
God gave you. So
Use
take
your
it and make it bigger and
resources.
better. Hey, Brooke,
Absolutely.
any final words of wisdom or thoughts you want to share, or something we didn't cover you think could be really important for people here to hear and inspire them? Maybe even something from your dad, you know? Yeah.
All the nuggets we had tonight. I think the biggest thing is just use your resources like we were saying. I mean, there is something that you have that you can dive into that you're not already, that you could make some clients from, that you can, figure out. Like we were saying, join the country club, go to paddleboard. I mean, we have paddleboarding down here, probably not where you are,
Mhm.
but hunt club, whatever it is,
Yeah.
literally whatever you like, go golfing with some new people. I mean, utilize what you have in your back pocket. You have something that's going to make you a lot more money than you think. I wasn't even utilizing my NFL background like a big dum dum. And all of a sudden it hit
Mhm.
me one day and look what it's created. So just think on it.
Mhm.
Just really dive in. Think about your past. Think about your friends. Think about your family and see where you can squander up some new clients and some new business.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. So, guys, if you want to type in the chat box or unmute yourself or do a hand wave, give Brooke a pat on the back and a big thank you because we really do appreciate it. And
Thank
and
That was
y'all.
great, Brooke. A
yeah,
lot of great information. Love your energy and tell you're going to be continue being successful. And thanks, Gary, for bringing her on. I know we have a entertainment and sports group. I haven't looked into it at EXP. Gary, you ought to connect her with some of the
Yeah,
VPs of that. I think it might be Tony King.
yeah.
And I'd love to see her come down to our event in Miami. She would have a lot of fun.
I do love
That would
Miami.
be a lot of networking. Holy smokes. Yeah. So Andre's in Punta Gorda. He's just south of where I was in Inglewood
Nice.
on the Gulf Coast. Yeah. And
Beautiful.
it's been EXP's been good to him. I've been to his house, had dinner there, rode around his golf cart, and just living the life, and
I
it's
love
all very
Florida too, Brooke.
possible. Yeah. What's
Fantastic
that?
living life.
I said I love Florida too.
Florida's
Oh
the
yeah.
best.
Yeah.
We do enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, listen, you guys have a good night. Feel free to ask questions anytime you want of me. And if you have anything for Brooke and if you're in recording mode, listen to this, just email me. And Brooke, I could email you if it's something, that you might
Absolutely.
be interested in.
Yeah.
People need help with stuff. And
Just reach out to
well,
me anytime, y'all. I mean, my inbox is open, my DMs are open. Always love connecting with other
yeah,
agents and hearing how you guys are doing and following along on y'all's journey. So
yeah.
would love to connect.
Well,
Thank you so
come on down to
much.
Miami. Andre was right. Miami it's right in
Nice.
South Beach. I mean, it's fun. It's amazing we get any work done, but what we do, it's a lot of networking. People from all over the world. So
That's amazing. I'm
yeah,
in.
yeah. Okay.
Well, thank
All right.
y'all.
You're very welcome. I think that's it. Okay. You guys all have a great night. Please set up your one-on-ones. And I'll see you on the next Monday Night Live. Remember, next Wednesday is the monthly team call. So make sure you're on that. So I'll show you what we're doing strategically at the strategic planning level. So, okay.
All
Everybody have a
right,
great
thank
night.
you.
Enjoy the football games.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for watching this episode of Monday Night Live. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.